And with that, Madam President, I'd like to request personal privilege to first have Cora Castle come up, and following Cora Castle, Vienna Cavazos.
Thank you very much. Personal privilege is granted. Ms. Castle, you can come forward to the podium, please, and just state your name for the record, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Cora Castle. Thank you also to the members of the Senate. I have some prepared remarks. Apologies for not staring everybody in the eyes. I want to express my sincere gratitude to Senator Cruz for inviting me here to speak before you today, and to the sponsors and co-sponsors of this resolution. This resolution matters, not just for those of us who are transgender, but for everyone who believes in the power of truth, presence, and dignity in public life. My name is Cora Castle. I've worked with several members of this body, but for those of you who do not know me, I would like to ask the Chamber's indulgence for a moment to briefly introduce myself and explain why I think I'm here. I was born in Wilmington Hospital, and ironically, despite spending much of my youth in Texas, Alaska, and Missouri, I own a home 3 blocks away from the building in which I was born. So it's fair to say I've come a long way in life, only if you consider 3 blocks a long way. For me, it was a long way. For most of my life, I lived with a persistent, implacable awkwardness that disconnected me from society. It wasn't until well into adulthood that I understood why, and it wasn't for many years after that that I concluded that I couldn't continue to live as a disembodied stowaway inside my own life. And this is perhaps the most defining trait of our shared experiences. We call the process of intentionally aligning your inner and outer selves transition. I unconsciously understood that transition would subject me to public ridicule and scorn, and would remove the possibility of a life of meaning. Authenticity seemed inherently incompatible with potential. After transition, I assumed the lowest possible profile, avoiding interaction with people, coasting from paycheck to paycheck, wishing, in fact, above all else, not to be seen. Then I witnessed an act of courage by a former member of this very chamber, who stood in her truth before the eyes of the world on a stage in Philadelphia. In a moment of epiphany, I realized that not only could I share my time and unique talents with society, but that I had an obligation to do so. Today, I serve in the top role for 2 companies, and I have leadership roles on county and nonprofit boards. All of which was explicitly possible because someone I did not know made the brave choice to be visible. We've grown accustomed to the idea that visibility is granted by legislative action, and there is great value in that recognition. However, I suggest that the most potent form of visibility is not the bestowal of recognition by society, but the passionate pursuit of presence within society by those denied representation and recognition. I urge transgender people everywhere to gift their time to causes that matter to them, to find nonprofit boards on which to serve, and to actively seek presence in spaces where decisions are made so that you may become someone else's example. By passing this resolution, you create space for that gift to be received, not with suspicion or stigma, but with dignity. Thank you very much.
Madam President.
Senator Cruz, of your witness.